Okay, so it's true. We all like to go on a holiday. And yes, when do we go on a holiday? Well, it's usually in the summer holidays when the kids are off school. If not, usually you're talking June, July, August. They're normally sort of the peak seasons. That's when we go on holiday to relax. But what about if you think, do you know what? I fancy going away in winter. Now, there is places you can go in winter that are really hot, but we're talking about one particular place that people might be interested in visiting. Yes, it's Benidorm. So here's the question. Is Benidorm worth visiting in the winter? Now, that's a good question. Is Benidorm worth visiting or going on holiday in the winter? Because you're going to find out starting right now. Geez, that sun is blinding. I always say that every video I do. I always moan about the sun. But I'm a sun worshipper, me. I like being around the sun. Babe, it's that way, isn't it? Sorry, I'm taking the dog for a walk. If you don't blame me, there's the dog. Well, I say I'm taking the dog for a walk. It's the missus who's actually got the dog. Right, so is Benidorm worth visiting in the winter months? Very good question. Let's break it down. Let's have a chat about it. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear answer. First things first. What is Benidorm actually like in the winter? Now, if you don't know, don't worry, because I know, because I've experienced it. And I'm going to share my experiences with you, so then you can decide if going to Benidorm in winter is right for you or not. Now, you might be pleasantly surprised. That's if you've never been before, because Benidorm is a very, very popular place. To be honest, it's actually more popular in winter than it is in summer. When people think of Benidorm, this is what usually comes to mind. They imagine the blazing summer heat, packed with beaches, bars and full of holidaymakers. And there's certainly a party vibe happening there, and that is true. However, that is in summer, but we're not talking about summer, are we? We're talking about winter. So let's get into it. You see, in Benidorm in winter, it's a completely different experience. And that's not a bad thing at all, if that's what you're looking for. Me personally, being a middle-aged man, it suits me perfectly. The first thing we should talk about is the most important thing, which is the weather. One of the biggest reasons people still visit Benidorm is that in the winter, the climate obviously changes. That doesn't mean it's going to be cold and you can make snowmen on the beach, because it's not that cold. In fact, it's still very warm. Like I say, I'm not saying it's boiling hot. You won't be laying on the beach every day in your swimming wear or your gear or whatever you choose to wear, but it's still a lot warmer than it is in the UK. And that is for most of Northern Europe. It's pretty much exactly the same. It's still very warm because you're further down south on the planet. The sun hits that part of the globe, meaning it's going to be a lot warmer and you can't get away from it really, which is a nice thing if your intention is to have a nice warm holiday, getting away from this bloody cold winter in the UK. If we're talking about the daytime temperatures, it's usually around 15 to 20 degrees in Benidorm, and again all over northern Spain as well, which is quite nice. It's warm, it's not cold, you don't really need a coat. You can still walk around in t-shirts and shorts if that's what you want to do. It's kind of a mild spring day in the UK, that's what it feels like. And on a sunny day with no wind, it can feel very nice. You can still sit outside and just chill out at a cafe, bar or whatever you want, have a beer and enjoy a drink or walk around without needing a big coat. Don't worry about that. It's still that holiday spirit, that holiday vibe. And yes, evenings are a lot cooler than normal, though you'll still want a jacket. Now listen, in the evenings, sometimes it's good to wear a jacket, not a coat, a jacket or a cardigan. but it's not freezing cold. Does that make sense? There's no snow, and it's very rare that you'll ever see any sort of frost. In fact, I've never seen it. And believe me, I go Benidorm a lot. So if you're someone who struggles with long, dark, cold winters, Benidorm offers a much lighter break from all of that. And if we're talking about the actual atmosphere, how does it feel? What's it really like? Here's where things start to change. Benidorm in the winter is much quieter than it is in the summer, and there are fewer crowds, which is great because you get served quicker when you're going out for something to eat or something to drink, and it's a lot more relaxed, and that's what you want. You go on holiday to relax. Why? Because you want to get rid of stress, so you go to relax. So this can be a good thing, can't it? Really? Or it can be a bad thing, depending on what it is you're actually looking for. Again, if you want to party and stuff like that, there's not going to be a lot of people there. But if you want to chill and just talk to a few people, a nice relaxed vibe, then it's right up your street. And as you get older, that's usually what you want in life. But if you're a young 19-year-old full of energy, it's probably not for you. But again, if you're looking for a slower pace, a bit more peace and quiet, and time to actually enjoy the place without cues or noise, then this is perfect. It's important to recognize that we're all creatures of habit. In other words, we like being around other people. We're very sociable creatures. Some of us might say, oh, I'm a loner, I like being on my own. But by our nature, we like being around other people. So when you go on holiday, sometimes it's nice to have not a lot of people, but some people around you so you can make friends and have new conversations and learn about people. So what type of people actually go to Benidorm in the winter? Well, mostly it's older people. A lot of retired folks are from the UK and they tend to go, and you get a lot of people from Germany and the Netherlands, they tend to go as well, and other parts of Europe. There's also a reason for that as well. So let's find out what that is, because in winter, Benidorm becomes a great spot for winter and that gentle living. And many people come for a few weeks, or even they might come for a few months because they enjoy it that much. But just to escape the grey skies back home, it's just a break, and it's lovely. It really is. The good thing as well that you should know is that hotels are a lot cheaper, and I mean a lot cheaper. And flights are also incredibly low because they're not as busy, so the prices drop, which is great for me and you if we're going on holiday to Benidorm in winter, isn't it? Because we're getting a cheap holiday. And the whole place has a friendly and a more friendly community vibe because there's less people, so people put more effort into conversations. It's a lot more slower. When I say slow, it's not boring, it's just slower. The more living in the present moment instead of being bombarded by hundreds of thousands of tourists. There's very few people, so it gives you time to relax and engage and connect with people you wouldn't normally associate with or even notice. You'll see people walking along the beach. You see this quite a lot. And you'll see them playing cards in the cafes, you know, playing cards or chess, or joining a group of activities, or just enjoying the sunshine with a drink in their hand. So you see people doing, is it yoga or Tai Chi or gentle exercises on the beach. It's an easy pace of life. That's basically what it is. This is a question that a lot of people actually ask, and it's interesting, this one. And that is everything actually open in the winter? Well, no, it's not going to be, is it? Because it's not the summer peaks, but most things are open. So are things open? Absolutely. It's not like the town shuts down literally. It's still a tourist attraction. The bars, restaurants and shops are still open, especially in the old town of Benidorm and the Levante area, where they're the main resorts that people tend to go, and they are the busiest spots in winter, believe it or not. Some nightclubs and bigger venues might reduce their hours or close for a bit, you know, just for a break. But most of them, what makes Benidorm fun, it's still running. So the major things are still open, even in the winter. So if you want to have a dance, you can still have a dance. Don't worry about it. And can you do this every night of the week? Yeah, of course you can, even though it's in winter. What about the entertainment? Because Benidorm's full of entertainment. Well, you're still going to see all these tribute acts. That's fine. All the cabaret shows, the karaoke bars and the live music, that's all still on. And it's all on as usual, the same entertainment. That's a good thing about Benidorm. The entertainment is fantastic. In fact, a lot of locals and regular visitors say that the shows are even better in winter because things feel more personal and relaxed. So I'll give you an example. If you're in a band or you're a singer, you're on a stage and you're singing to thousands and thousands of people and they're all drunk and it's loud, now change that. If you're a singer or you're in a band and you're on a smaller stage and there's a few hundred people and they're all sitting there and they're watching you, listening to you, you're going to perform better because it's more relaxed. Interesting fact. So what can you actually do in the winter if you want to do activities? Well, there's loads of things to do in winter, so don't worry about that. There are still walking trips nearby, so you don't have to go far. And there's places like Atia or even the big city of Alicante, and that's where you get your train, not your train, your plane into from the UK. Now, Alicante is a really nice place. If you haven't been there, you should go at least for a day, just so you can get a feel for it. Now, the beaches are still perfect, so don't worry about that. It's still nice to walk on a beach and just chill out and feel that cold breeze. We'll say cold breeze, warm breeze, and the sand is in your toes. It's lovely, and that's what it's all about. So I can go on, but I'm going to keep it short. So let me just summarize it. Is Benidorm worth visiting in the winter? And the answer is yes, absolutely. It's different. And some people prefer it. So it depends what you want. If you want busy, and it's really hot weather, then go in July, August, or in my experience, June, because June seems to be the buzz month. That's where all the stag do's, the stag parties and hens and gangs and groups go, if that's what you're into. But if you want a chilled vibe, then start looking at winter months because it's a lot better. In fact, I'm going in November, and is it November or September? But they have like a big festival on. October. It's November. It's a big festival. I'm going to do a video on it when I get there, and it's the all dress up. It's like a fiesta. It's fantastic. But Benidorm will be literally packed. You won't be able to move, and that is in November. I can't remember the top of my head what the festival's called, but it's a big fancy dress one, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people enjoying the sun in Benidorm. So there you go. It's just a short video. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you might have learned something. And if there's something you know about Benidorm that I've not mentioned, then please comment in the video, because I really appreciate it, because it helps people who are watching this video, because we all have lots of questions, and if you don't know, you don't know. True? If you've never been to Benidorm and you want to know what it's like, speak to someone who's been there several times. For example, me, or someone else, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you in Benidorm very, very soon.